This is Mrs. Appia with the answer key for the practice test for lessons 12 through 15 in Module 3 about inequalities. In the first section, all you're doing is identifying whether the symbol should be reversed or whether it should stay the same. When you reverse it, you do that when you multiply or divide by a negative number. In all other cases, it stays the same, which is it preserves. So number 1, it preserves. Number 2, it preserves. Number 3, it reverses because you would have to divide by -7 in order to solve that problem. Then in number 4, it preserves because you're dividing by a +7. In number 5, it preserves because you would be subtracting 4. In number 6, it would preserve because you would be multiplying by a +5. In number 7, in this case, you would have to multiply both sides by a negative, so your symbol will be reversed. And in number 8, to solve that problem, you would have to subtract 7, so your symbol is preserved. In the next section, graph the inequality on a number line. Number 9 is open and pointing to the left. Number 10 is closed and pointing to the right. So the difference between having the circle open or closed has to do with the inequality symbol, with the equal sign being a part of the symbol. In example 10, when it is greater than or equal to, you color it in because the number could be 7. In number 9, you do not color in the circle because the answer here could be less than 7, but not 7. Number 11, closed circle, and number 12, open circle. In 13 through 16, you're writing the inequality. So the thing that you have to analyze is, do you need to include the equality with the inequality? And which way should your arrow point? So keep in mind that your arrow should point the same way that your inequality is pointing. And then if it includes the equality sign, then your dot should be filled in as well. Number 14 does not include the equality sign, so the circle is open and it's pointing to the right, so the arrow goes to the right. In number 15, there's no equality sign, so it's open circle. The inequality is pointing to the left, all numbers less than -5. Number 16 includes an equality sign, so 1/4 is part of the answer, and then it points to all numbers less than 1/4. In the next section, to solve the inequality, look at what's being done to the variable and do the opposite. They are adding 7, so we subtract 7. Bring down the variable, the inequality preserves, and the answer is 13. Number 18, this means to multiply, so you do the opposite, which is to divide. Show division with a fraction bar. Since you're dividing with a positive number, your inequality sign preserves and stays the same. In number 19, you are dividing by a negative number. So in this case, your inequality is switched from less than to greater than, and the answer is -3. In number 20, this is a two-step equation. Undo the addition first with subtraction, and that gives you -14, and then undo 2 times m by dividing by 2, and the answer is -7. You are not multiplying or dividing by a negative number, so the symbol is preserved. Remember, the only time you would reverse a symbol is if you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number. In number 21, you are multiplying by a positive number, so the symbol is preserved, and you multiply by 5. These cancel each other out because a number divided by itself is 1. m over 1 is m, and -10 times 5 is -50. Number 22, undo subtraction with addition. Add 7 to both sides. When you add a number, you don't have to worry at all about the inequality symbol switching. Number 23, this is multiplication, so you need to divide. When you divide by the coefficient, which is negative. Since it's a negative number that you are dividing by, you must reverse the symbol from greater than to less than. Number 24, this says to divide by -7, so you do the opposite, which is to multiply. When you multiply by a negative number, your symbol is reversed. So it goes from less than to greater than, and it is still equal. Then number 25. Ahab paid admission to the movies, which cost $12. Okay, so here's his ticket for $12. He also bought a soda for $4. So you add to that the cost of the soda. Then each box of candy costs $1.50. So the candy cost $1.50, and you multiply that by a variable because you don't know how many boxes you're buying. So $12 for the ticket plus $4 for the soda plus 1.5 times B, which represents $1.50 per box. And that needs to be less than or equal to $25. Combine your like terms, that gives you $16. Then subtract $16 from both sides of the equation so you know how much you have left to spend on candy. So 25 minus 16 is 9. That's how much you have left to spend on candy. Then you divide by the coefficient $1.50. A number divided by itself is 1. Bring down the b. 9 divided by $1.50 is 6. So you can get 6 boxes or less of candy. In the last two problems, you're graphing a solution to the inequality. So to solve the problem, you have to divide by 3, and you're dividing by a positive number, so your inequality symbol is preserved. Then when you graph that, it's going to be an open circle and pointing to the left, and so the answer is C. And the last question, it says to add 2, so you subtract 2. When you subtract 2 from both sides of the inequality, 5 minus 2 is 3. Your inequality is preserved, so it's an open circle and pointing to the numbers that are greater than 3. And so the answer is D. And that concludes the review for the test.